Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CoculesNation. My name is Secret Agent Nicanor Cocules. I'm the founder and the director of the Cocules Industry Spy Network and the CoculesNation. For today, I wanted to take a crack at some AI chatbot prompt engineering. So, I am going to be using, for this demonstration, DuckDuckGo's AI chat. It is in beta right now. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to use one of four models here. I was doing this earlier, but I wasn't really happy with the results. Let's actually use Claude. I do like Claude pretty well. Now, what I'm going to be doing here is essentially trying to get the AI to do a task, give it some details, give it as much detail as possible, give it the context. I am going to be utilizing, I believe, an AI agent as well, and then using some thought processes here. Now, Claude is a proprietary model. Llama and Mixtral are pretty decent. GPT-4, come on, this is by OpenAI. And I won't use OpenAI stuff because, yeah, GPT-4 is getting kind of sucky now. That said, I will go ahead and write something. Now, since I'm going to be using Claude here, and this is going to be general purpose, I'm going to go ahead and have it recommend some Linux distributions for content creators. So, to start off, I will type in the following. Just like that. This is the persona I want the AI to adopt. The idea behind a persona is the AI will not know what you're talking about, and this is one technique that you can use in order to get the AI to do whatever it is you need. So, after I gave it the persona, I will now be giving it some context and some details on what I want. Okay, so I'm giving it some rules here. Create for me a table of operating systems for content creators who are switching from Windows to Linux for the very first time. This is the task. And then all of this that I have thus far, that just so happened to be the details. I do want to include a restriction though. Alright, so now I have another restriction. Do not include Arch-based or Gentoo-based operating systems, and certainly do not include Ubuntu flavors, because I kind of want that to be just operating systems that are really not Ubuntu. Because I wouldn't recommend Ubuntu based with the exception of Pop! OS and Linux Mint. I am more fond of Mint. Both beginning users and power users alike are really, really, really fine with Mint. And I would start with Mint. Or if you want to go the Debian route, I would go LMDE. But that's just personally me. Anyway, should I provide another one? Because what I'm doing is I'm basically coming up with a prompt for the AI to respond to, and if I give it a high quality prompt, I will get a high quality response from the AI. Now, this is Claude here. This will be my first time using Claude. So we're going to see how that's going to go for the most part. All right, so I will go ahead and use this prompt, and then if more things are needed, I will use what are called iterations. And you'll see iterations here in a second. I actually have my tablet over there, so let me go grab that. And I will reference these notes if needs be. But from the looks of things, I should be doing okay for the time being. There's a lot of science to it for obvious reasons. Let's see. Fair instructions. I have a persona adopted. Follow-up questions. This is what is called iterative prompting. I did what is called, I think this is zero shot. Or I'm maybe using, I think I'm using fuse shot right now. Let's see here. Let's try it. Let's see what Claude says. There we go. So I should be okay. Now let's take a look-see. So here, Claude has given us a table of beginner-friendly Linux desktop operating systems for content creators switching from Windows, along with the thought process and detailed pros and cons for each of them. First off, we have Linux Mint. This is the operating system that I daily driven for quite a while, actually. It seems pretty decent for the most part. Now, word them for someone with autism spectrum disorder. I did tell him to do that, so let's see what Claude does. The thought process is that Mint is a great choice for Windows users transitioning to Linux, familiar desktop interface, especially with Cinnamon, excellent hardware support, wide range of pre-installed applications for content creation. You really do have to set it up, actually. You're going to have to do a little bit of setup. So I think what happened there, I don't know if this is a hallucination or if I didn't put in the prompt right. I may have worded something wrong here, but we'll see about that. The pros are that Mint is a beginner-friendly distribution with a Windows-like interface and Cinnamon, well optimized for gaming with good 64-bit hardware support, highly customizable with a variety of desktop environments. Well, there's actually 3 of them. There is the Cinnamon desktop environment, which is the standard. That's the one I would recommend if you have good hardware. If you have, I think, a smaller amount of RAM and maybe just lower end resources, I would go for either, I would probably go XFice or XFCE. The Mate version, I would recommend you not use, but that's just my personal preferences. The cons are they don't have the latest versions of software due to how APT works. There's limited official support for some proprietary software. Though I will say the users on Nvidia systems, one of them being me, actually have some decent drivers. We just have to get a specialized PPA for the Nvidia graphics drivers, specifically the closed source ones, the proprietary ones. Now, that's going to be pretty interesting. Pop! OS. Now, this will be talking about Pop! OS 2204, not necessarily the alpha with their Cosmic desktop, which is 2404 based. So this will be really interesting. Anyway, it is Ubuntu based. It's a protest distro just like Mint is. It is focusing on gaming and content creation, a clean and modern desktop environment, excellent hardware support, and a range of pre-installed tools. It is optimized for gaming and content creation, good for 64-bit hardware support, customizable GNOME desktop. I really don't like GNOME, personally speaking, but I do see its merits. I do see the merits with GNOME, especially for Apple users. Apple users would have a really good time with the GNOME desktop environment, I think. But otherwise, no, not really. It is developed by System76, a reputable hardware manufacturer out of San Francisco. But it's not going to be familiar to Windows users as Mint. It has limited support for some proprietary software. Okay. Well, limited official support, rather. And that's the same over here with Mint. Ubuntu is actually recommended by a lot of the corporate Linux community, but I wouldn't recommend Ubuntu as a community Linux kind of guy. Heck, I'm using CachyOS, for goodness sake. We have here Fedora Workstation, which is basically a Red Hat-based desktop version of Red Hat. It's a community-driven distribution. Not true, it's made by Red Hat, but there are some community contributors. It provides a stable, up-to-date platform for content creators, a modern desktop environment, and focus on open source software. Problem is, I wouldn't recommend Fedora Workstation unless you want to implement the fixes from Nubara project, that's the one I would recommend. So that is a little bit of a hallucination from the AI, but this is Claude. I will actually go ahead and I will copy all of that, and I'll be starting a new chat here soon. Anyway, we have the latest stable versions of software, good 64-bit hardware support, customizable GNOME, you can actually change that, strong community and extensive documentation, may not be as beginner friendly as Mint or POP, and has limited support for proprietary hardware. And then Elementary. Elementary is Ubuntu based, so basically some of the same stuff. Simplicity, okay. Oh, I think I have an idea of what we're going to be seeing here. I think it will come with snaps. So I think that is a little bit of a weird thing here. Here's the thought process. Okay, it actually also gave me the stuff for autism spectrum disorder as well, which is pretty nice actually. Let's do the same thing, but this time I will use Mixtral. Then I'll go ahead and do the same thing again. Maybe do a couple things different. All right, so I've gone ahead and written another thing, basically telling the AI to word it as if I have autism and I don't understand the jargon. Understand Linux jargon. That's what I'm gonna tell Mixtral. This is the open source model. Let's go ahead and let's do it. It's gonna give me Pop! OS, Zorin, Elementary, Manjaro, and Fedora. I said not Arch. I said not to include Arch-based or Gentoo based. So this is weird, Mixtral. All right. Solus? Solus? That's an interesting one. Let's see here. Zorin is Ubuntu based. It's actually pretty decent. I think it might actually be better up to date than, or is it 2204 based? I hadn't taken a look at Zorin, so I'll probably have to take a look at that. Fedora. There's Fedora again. There's Pop. I see Elementary with Pantheon. But then I see Solus, which is interesting. It actually uses Budgie, interestingly enough. Pop uses GNOME, which is not too bad. In Fedora, though, I've seen Fedora, I've seen Pop, I've seen Elementary. So that's actually not so bad. This is pretty good, despite the oversight with Arch-based in Manjaro. Manjaro is weird. I've talked about this on the channel before. So yeah, I think it actually produced a good response to the Mixtral deal. Let's do a new chat. And then I'm going to go ahead and use GPT-4o. I'll probably just do all the models today. I probably need to reword this again because I forgot to copy the last one. Oops. Done, dusted. Now, same thing. Let's see what GPT says. Mint, Zorin, Pop, Elementary, Manjaro, GPT. I said no Arch-based. What the heck? Still gonna give me Fedora. Giving me, at least it gives me Mint. There's Zorin, Pop, Elementary, Fedora. Mostly Ubuntu based, which, hey, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Though again, I'd recommend Pop, I'd recommend Mint as the two operating systems because I really don't like Snap, honestly. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. There was a bit of an oversight with Manjaro. Oops. Yeah, that was a hallucination. I said no Arch-based or Gentoo based. GPT did a pretty good job with the no Gentoo based rule, but it didn't do such a good job with the no Arch based rule. Though I actually did see that Was it Mixtral? I think Mixtral did the same thing. Alright, let's use Llama then. Llama 3.1. Same thing. Here we go. Holy cow, Llama. Holy cow to the third power. And again, it's Arch. Llama, you goof. It's Arch based. Come on. Well, Lubuntu. Oh no. Oh, llama. Llama, why? Come on. Okay, now it gives me solace. What the heck was that all about? Jeez. Okay, I had two. Llama's the worst on here. DuckDuckGo, you guys need to change this. I literally got it to trip up on all four models. Hold on. Actually, for grins and giggles, I'm gonna go ahead and do all four models here. And then see... I'm gonna do this one time. And see if I can get them all to hallucinate. That's a hallucination. So GPT hallucinates. Claude will probably hallucinate. Claude actually does not hallucinate here. It did a good job. Llama will hallucinate. That's a hallucination. How stupid is that? Llama did a pretty good job, but it hallucinated. And Mixtral. Mixtral is going to hallucinate. I said no Arch base, no Gen 2 base. But guess what? It tripped up on the no Arch base rule. Come on. This needs to be fixed. Wow. Okay, so I obviously got it to mess up pretty bad there. Oh, this is hilarious. But I think I'm actually going to end this video here on this absolutely knee slapping point. That said, thank you and good night.